Well, Jane, I want to ask you, what was your first thoughts when you first heard that they were going to have this Parkette reunion?
I was just thrilled to death, and the Historical Society called me and started asking me a lot of information, and all of a sudden now it's come to fruition. We're here and enjoying all these wonderful memories together, all of us.
And when you think of memories, what comes to mind about your association with the Parkettes many years ago?
Oh, the practices. Somebody was always in trouble. I remember practicing in the concession area at St. Louis Park High School, and somebody was always cutting up and getting in trouble, and we'd all be laughing, and we practiced hard. We were very proud of our line. We were kind of known as the primo line in the state.
And you traveled a lot too.
Traveled a lot. We took trips. My parents chaperoned a lot of the trips, and went to California, went out to Glacier National Park, and had the time of our lives. These are all my very special buddies. And we had so much fun. It was an experience I'll never forget.
You know, people associate the Parkettes with the Minnesota Vikings, but as you reminded me, you also danced for the first time for the Minneapolis Lakers.
Absolutely. We danced in 1960 for the Lakers games, and all I remember is I was so intimidated by the crowds and the huge, huge men. But it was really fun. And then you reminded me they moved in 61. So,
right. That was your last year.
That was the last year.
How would you compare this with high school reunions as a whole that you've gone to? Just big high school reunions.
This is extra special because these are the girls that I spent the most amount of time practicing and traveling with and dancing with and so on and so forth. And I think this is extra special.
With the family members, have they asked about your days as a Parkette before? How have you talked about that?
You know, actually, until I had to fill out the memory book, it's been a thing of the past, but now everything is coming forth. It's really interesting. Everything is fun, and we're all having a lot of fun reminiscing.
Good to see you.
Remembering the old times. Thanks, Mark.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, Faith, first of all, this is amazing, isn't it? People have the biggest smiles on their faces. Are you overwhelmed by all of this tonight?
I am totally overwhelmed, Mark. In fact, last night we had a reunion of the class of 1970, and I think I was smiling all the way home. It just felt so good.
Well, you know how important this is, and how many people are going to look back to some memories, and you're going to be involved, obviously, in the costumes and the show tonight. How have they changed over the years, and what are your thoughts about what's going to be happening here?
Well, the costumes remain the same. They're a little bit dilapidated. There are a few that have fallen apart, and there are many that are amongst the missing. But we have Parkettes, a few Parkettes. We have daughters and friends of daughters modeling tonight. The fashions are amazing. I saw a big change in the fashions, though, when we hit 1970. There was a dramatic shift in the fashions.
And it seems like people are not reticent to kind of put the costumes on. Even the alumni have been around for a while. They're a little nervous about this?
I've heard of a few. Their names will be unmentioned.
Yeah.
Wanting to take a scissor and make it a little bigger so that they could fit into it. But for the most part, you know, people look very good, and they're able to fit in, they don't.
It seems like the Parkettes are really unique. Not just because they dance with the Vikings, but there seems to be a camaraderie that exists here that maybe you couldn't find in any other situation.
There is an incredible amount of camaraderie, friendship. You know, we go way back. My class goes back to 1970, but it seems like even last night we just picked up where we left off. And the best thing is we all agreed on is that we learned how to have discipline and have a goal and work hard and really be the best of the best. And everybody has done very well in all of their respective careers. And I think that's because of what we learned with Mrs. Libby.
Great thought. Thank you so much. Good seeing you this week.
Nice to see you too.
Beth, what did you think of when you first heard that they were having this Parkette reunion?
50 years, I couldn't miss it. Couldn't miss it. It's just so much fun being with women all across the board that have the exact same pit in their stomach when they're asked to do one step. You know, just do a number and get up. Since we were 17 years old, we haven't done this.
But you don't forget it, do you? Did it come back like you did yesterday?
Very instinctive.
Huh?
Very instinctive. It's right inside of you. It's hysterical.
What are the memories that come to mind when you think about your time back in 1970 and those years in St. Louis Park, and particularly with the Parkettes?
Oh, well, Vikings was such a dream come true. To go to the Super Bowl, you know, against the Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, who has that opportunity? Tulane Stadium,
Yeah.
New Orleans, we had a ball. Just a ball.
What were you looking forward to the most, you think, this weekend? What surprised you, if anything, so far about conversations you've had with people and meeting some people maybe from past generations?
The whole beauty is that we really haven't changed. You know, we're still there. We're still on the field. We're still on the dance floor. We're still having a number system and a bonus system that Mrs. Libby started with us. We're all joking about it, that we've almost introduced that in our life ever since.
Now you got your husband here and your son Zach here. I know you brought along. Have you talked about your Parkette days before this weekend with your son in particular, or did this sort of just come up in the memory bank to say, look what I did?
Oh no, I have to keep my credits. You know, I've got 3 sons and a husband, so I'm living with 4 men. And it's competitive on a daily basis. So my whole deal is I made Sports Illustrated and they haven't.
Yeah.
It's like,
So
top it.
take that.
Come on, top it.
Yeah.
It's very cool. And Parkettes, I thank them for the opportunity. You know, how many people can be in a high school situation and have Vikings and have everything else at their disposal? Travel the world. It was so cool.
So you're going to kick it tonight?
Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm still frontline center. It's like I had to do it. Thank you.
This has got to be a thrill of a lifetime for you guys to have all this happening tonight. Tell me about your thoughts.
Well, it really is. When we originated back in March of 1956, we had no idea that it would ever grow as big as it did, and that they could do as much with the Lakers and Vikings, traveling all over the world, performing for the troops. So we're excited that some little thing, the grassroots started, that they could spread and do so many fun things.
You have to be very pleasantly surprised about the reaction and certainly the response you got to having this reunion from all the classes that have followed you guys, to see the pride that they have and what the Parkettes meant to them.
That's right, and everyone is so excited to see each other and hugging each other, so it makes us feel good. They had that team camaraderie, which girls didn't have very much of back in the 50s and 60s.
Debbie, what did people think about the Parkettes when you first started?
So she was a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, I'm sure she was. I mean, this has got to be fun for you guys, and to see that the pride that everyone has in the Parkettes and St. Louis.